Honkai Star Rail, Hoyoverse's latest addition to their lineup of gacha games and the sequel/spin-off of their first game, Honkai Impact 3rd, has just been released to the world. And with so much hype and promise around this game, I figured I would take a look at it myself and investigate the claims that some players were making that it was a better experience than Genshin Impact. Now, I do love Genshin as a game, but with events and updates being stale and unmemorable and the wait for a Eula rerun wearing me down, I had kinda stepped aside from playing it for a while and was looking for something else to quench my anime girl thirst. And no, not that kind of thirst. Okay, hold on, let me appreciate the character design. Oh yeah, I'm sold. This game's already better than Genshin. Okay, maybe a bit of that kind of thirst, but the characters in this game are hot, okay?
Boom.
The way she says boom.
Why does it always have to get this exciting? Anyway, at least you're back. Come on, Asta has been worried about all of you.
Is there any woman in this game that is not fine as hell? When women wear their coat off one shoulder, that's a slut move. And I mean slut in the most sex-positive way possible. Do you have to play Honkai Impact 3rd to understand this game? Well, your understanding of the lore might be enhanced by already being a Honkai fan, but it is by no means necessary to understand the game. As someone who started playing Honkai Impact and quit like 5 chapters in because the playstyle was just boring as hell and the game felt super mobile gamey, I did not feel like my experience playing Honkai Impact affected my playthrough of Star Rail at all. It's me, the other Himiko. It's you from the other timeline. Would you like to know how you died? Speaking of mobile gamey feel, Star Rail is similar to Genshin in that it completely does not feel like a mobile game aside from the energy system and in-app purchases. The world and aesthetic are gorgeous and detailed, and the characters are all fleshed out and balanced. What's more, the main character is much more interesting and has much more of a personality than Genshin's MC, and actually talks. Sorry Lubine, I love you, but Stella is just that much cooler. And she's tall.
There we go. How much does she remember?
I'll remember you.
Time to get up.
Who cares? They're here and alive. Do they look like a mannequin to you?
Weak heartbeat and pulse. March. You better do CPR.
Check his pulse, Yugi!
I find the story of the game to be pretty immediately captivating. The aesthetic helps, but the way you're introduced to it is also much more interesting than Genshin. Instead of starting on your own journey, you feel like you're jumping in the middle of a living, breathing world in ongoing conflict. You don't even start out by playing as the MC. You get to see the antagonist's perspective first, immediately shifting the player's perception of the story. Who to trust? Who is really the good guys in all this? Were you created to be a hero or to be a force of destruction?
That's why we have to leave and take her with us.
She's that important?
Oh, why does Himiko know? How does Himiko know?
She's the one who can help us turn the tides. Of course, I may be wrong.
Oh, she's definitely hiding something. The characters are all very likable. Even the starter characters feel unique and like characters that I would want to continue to use throughout the course of the game. Genshin just doesn't really have that. Sure, Amber, Kaya, and Lisa are all fine in their own right, but compared to most of the characters in Genshin, they're honestly kinda boring.
We'll take those invaders out soon.
She has such T-girl swag. The color palette, the outfit, the voice, I'm sorry. That is a transgender. God damn, she is so transgender. She has the Sylveon color palette and everything. You know what else she looks like? She looks like a Primo Gem. This girl is a walking, talking Primo Gem. Oh dear, girl, your ankles. Girl, your ankles.
I noticed that you're not wearing the space station staff uniform. Do you really work here?
I'm gonna just lie.
Really? Feels like you're tricking me.
Get gaslit, bitch. Yo, what?
Hey,
A
You're all
slightly
together?
dark-skinned character in a MiHoYo game?
Oh my god, I can't believe my eyes.
Nah, that's gotta be a hate crime. Immediately, I was drawn in by the science fantasy aesthetic, something I arguably consider one of my favorite genres. The aesthetic of Star Rail seems to lie somewhere between steampunk, cyberpunk, and techwear, and the world having a distinctly Star Trekian feel to it, which is my favorite sci-fi franchise of all time. So already I'm sold on the game. While I do love the design and aesthetic of Genshin and its characters as well, I'm not really the biggest fan of the high fantasy, Sword Art Online kind of style that most fantasy anime and games tend to fall into.
A few months?
Is she a
and the
ball
space
jointed
station is
doll?
already in this
What?
state?
Genshin could never. Genshin could never Scaramouche who?
humanity never conceals its desire to control the heavens. And I'm no exception.
What? She calms down a nuke while sipping tea? Holy shit, I fucking love trains. I fucking love trains. The game is turn-based, which may not be for everybody. Full stop, if you don't like turn-based combat, you will not like this game, because there is a lot of it. In fact, maybe a bit too much of it. At the start of the game, the enemies you face can start to feel very repetitive, and there's not a whole lot of variation in the kind of battles you're in. But again, the game only did just come out, so things are bound to get more interesting as the game and story progresses. For me personally, I actually prefer turn-based combat to a system like Genshin's. Thanks to my disabilities, I actually have a very delayed reaction time, and that can make playing games like Genshin that require quick swapping and timing very stressful for me. In Honkai Star Rail, I really enjoy having the freedom to stop and think about my moves, and allows the experience to actually feel more casual for someone like me who only plays casually.
I don't want to die.
What? Girl, do they have therapy on this train? Because you sure need it. One gripe I have with the combat system though is the auto battle mode, and that may just be my personal vitriol for auto mechanics. It really cheapens the experience and takes away any of the strategy or really fun from the combat, and really reminds you that this is meant to be a money printing mobile game above all else. Of course, you can just not use it, but then you're putting yourself at a disadvantage that other players won't have. Who's this fine motherfucker? And yes, also like Honkai Impact, there are actually canon queer relationships. Now, whether or not these are actually good representation or just fetishization is a discussion for another day. But still, that's one thing Genshin will never have. Thanks, Chinese government. And regarding the wishing system and whether or not it's more satisfying than Genshin's, I'll let this clip speak for itself. Is that a gold? What? What? On my second pull? I would say streamer luck is real, but I'm not even streaming right now. What? Please tell me it's a character. Please tell me it's a character. That would be so amazing. Oh, you're fucking kidding me. For reference, I told my good friend Kenneth Catra right before I started playing that if, and I quote, "if my first 5 star is a dude, I will simply quit, as I am famous for hating playing with male characters." So I guess I'm quitting Honkai Star Rail, everybody. It's back to Genshin for me. I think this is God's punishment.